Today, we celebrate the life of Joseph Sr., immigrated from the Philippines and built a life here with his son and grandchildren. Now his grandson, Joe, would like to say a few words.
Let's get the energy up in here. I feel like I'm at a funeral right now. So my old man, he kicked the bucket the other day. Well, he actually slipped and he missed and he cracked his skull open, so he really bled to death. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's a little dark humor. You know, I deal with things differently, I guess. Like my older brother, he has a therapist. He goes to his therapist and is like, and then he died. And then his therapist goes, "Aw, so how does that make you feel?" All right, I guess we got some mental health advocates in the crowd. My younger brother, he said he talked to my grandfather's ghost during a dream. And that's nice. But I stopped believing Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and fairy tales years ago, am I right? I guess we got some ghost hunters too. I deal with death, with anything really, through comedy, because I learned to turn something tragic and horrifying into something beautiful. So I'm not trying to disrespect my grandfather. I respect the dead. We put his ashes in a coffee jar because he loved drinking coffee. Well, he actually wanted a proper burial, but we skimped out and just collected the life insurance instead. That's a joke. It's a tough crowd. A little information about Joseph Sr. here. He grew up in the Philippines. He grew up very poor, and he came to Canada to live the Canadian dream. But with this dream came the Canadian nightmare, because it meant we needed to survive. It meant never follow your dreams. It meant have food and have shelter, which is good on paper, but it's very pessimistic in a way. My family, they keep saying that they miss him and they wish he was here. And I think that's extremely selfish of them. This guy, he wanted to die. Like, he would constantly complain about his depression, his anxiety. Like, he stressed himself so much when we were at the hospital visiting him because he felt the need to entertain. Like, we're surrounded on his deathbed and he's just doing stand-up comedy like, "So what's the deal with hospital food? Don't you hate when the nurses don't top off your Jell-O? What does a guy have to do to get his diaper changed around here?" Yeah. This anxiety, this depression, whatever you want to call it, this came from the survivalist immigrant mentality. He did teach me a lesson though. He taught me that happiness is a choice because he had a superpower. Give him any type of information and he would instantly look at the negative. Like, he would have been a great salesman if what he was teaching was how to live a shitty life. Like, he wanted me to become a mailman and I wanted to do comedy. It pissed him off so much. Like, one time I farted on my dog's face because I thought it would be funny. And then he just lectured me for hours, telling me how I'm a kid, how I'm never gonna grow up, how I'm never gonna be responsible. A part of me wishes we had a better relationship growing up because we had such a complicated one. He wanted to survive and I wanted to fart on my dog's face because I thought it was funny. At least 3 times a month, we would have these screaming matches where we would just be arguing about the most pointless things. Like, it would be him complaining about something and then me just trying to make a joke out of it. Like, we were both the personified versions of the angel and devil on the shoulder, but we both thought we were the angel. I just don't think Asian families or immigrant families know how to communicate. We get into big fights with each other. We scream at each other and argue, and then the next day we just pretend it never happened. We just make synagogue and then it's all dandy. The same thing goes with love too. I mean, the last exchange of words we had with each other were "I love you," which sounds great on paper, but the last time we ever said that to each other was when I was a kid. We never showed any type of love to each other. No, I'm wrong. We did. But the love came when we were both yelling at each other and just arguing, because that's when we felt the most passion. That's when we felt the most alive. Hate and love, they're the same emotion. Passion is passion. So we did understand each other in a very messed up way. We were like two broken puzzle pieces that couldn't figure out how to put ourselves together. But if we did, we would have had a more meaningful relationship before he died. When they're alive, there's a part of you that thinks that maybe one day things will change. Maybe it'll be different. But now that they're gone, it never will be. You would think that would make us more loving and forgiving and caring, but it doesn't. What am I talking about? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring the mood down. Let's get the mood back up here, folks. What is this, a funeral home? He's the one who actually got me into comedy, because he's the one who taught me to turn tragedy to triumph instead of tragedy to more tragedy. So my grandfather is dead, and I'm glad he is, because now he can rest. Rest in hell, old man.
Thanks for watching the video. If you're interested in watching a director's commentary...
What am I talking about? I'm sorry.
I have like this mask of comedy that I have when I'm with people, and it's kind of like a defense mechanism, because people will never know my real emotion if I just express all my emotion through funny. Or any of my comedy content.
We're destroying the economy! I get my house because of you! Don't you dare! Don't you! Don't you!
I do acting, so I usually get typecasted as young athletic male, or young entrepreneur, or the guy you bring home to your parents. Ladies? Okay. Alright, anyways.
You owe me child support. Step up and be a man. This is your baby.
And then a picture of baby Joe shows up on a TV screen, like that. You can view it on Patreon for only $5 a month. Thanks for watching. Stay on average, fools.
Dude! Someone left their instant coffee, bro. It's my lucky day.